secondhand toy dealer here, and yesterday was the toy show. Yesterday's toy show was the first toy show that I have ever been a vendor at. I went to this toy show back in April. It was elbow to elbow, people crammed in. You couldn't hardly walk anywhere, you're bumping into people. It was packed. So in this video, I'm going to go over what expectations I had, what hopes I had, and how it went, and then go over the numbers for what actually was reality. So if you watch back, the previous video was the sell pile, me showing you all the stuff that I had that I was going to price and take to the flea market first one weekend, and then 2 weekends later, yesterday, the toy show. Unfortunately, the flea market didn't work out. My wife's family, her dad's side had a death and her mom's side had a death. Not related, just happened to happen in the same week, and because of visitations and funeral services, I wasn't available to do the flea market, so I don't know how that would have turned out for me, but it didn't end up working out to do that. I had not purchased a space from them. I had talked to them about whether or not I could just come the day before. They said, yeah, that's perfect, come on over. We will rent you a space, get you set up. But with the services, I wasn't able to attend the flea market. So a couple weeks went by, and here we are at the toy show. I had been to the toy show. I knew how packed it was. I had prearranged with the people that were throwing the toy show. I wanted 4 tables. The tables were $40 each, so I was in it $160 before I even set the first thing out for sale. I priced everything. I was really struggling with whether or not I wanted to price right where I wanted to sell. If I had an item for 20 bucks, do I just mark it for 20 bucks and just turn away all offers and say, nope, I'm firm, no wiggle room, I've already cut to the chase, this is my best price that I can sell it for? Or do I just mark things up? I was highly encouraged by almost everybody that gave me advice on this. Mark it high so that when you get asked to come down, then you can still do well and they feel very good about talking you down. I probably did not mark things up as high as I should have. I did mark some things up. If I purchased a $25 item on clearance for 10 bucks, and I knew I could probably mark it up to 20 and still be $5 under the original retail price, and with it being out of circulation and unavailable, only available on the secondary market, I figured that my $20 price tag for an original $25 MSRP, and people probably saying, well, it's not available, so I'm going to mark it up to 30. I figured I would do well at $20. But I didn't mark things up very high. I was actually probably pretty close to where I wanted it to be, and most everything was at or below MSRP, or the manufacturer suggested retail price. So, I priced everything, and when I got done pricing everything, if I were to have sold every single item that I priced, I would have sold just about $2,100. So I had quite a bit of stuff that I was going to take with me to the toy show, and I was hoping to sell somewhere between like a third to half of my stuff. That was what I was really kind of expecting. It was going to be as low as a third and maybe half, and if more than that, even better yet. So I was hoping to sell at least $700 worth of stuff. I would have been really excited to have sold about 1,000, maybe even like 12 or 1,500, and that was kind of where I was. I was kind of hoping to sell between a third and half of the stuff that I had listed. I was hoping I wasn't going to have to come down in many of those prices. If for some reason I would have sold every single item and I would have gotten my asking price of totaling $2,100 approximately, I would have had about $400 worth of profit in that. So if I would have purchased everything for $1,700 and I sold it for $2,100, I would have had $400 that I was making money off of what I had invested in my inventory, and that would have helped cover the cost of the tables. I had to take off work on Friday a couple hours early to go and get set up so that I would be ready to start it and run it on Saturday. Figuring all my time into Saturday morning and having my wife come and help me with that. That cost me a lot because I was asking her to give up Saturday morning sleep. But at any rate, I was kind of like, okay, I've got $400 worth of wiggle room if I sell everything, and I need to cover some of these expenses, but I do have some room I can come down. So I took approximately, I think, very close, 236 individually priced items. Like I said, I had about $2,100 worth of stuff that I had priced, and I had the $160 in the tables. I had some time setting it up on Friday. I think I got there about 2:30, and I spent about 2.5 hours, close to 3 hours by myself, setting up my table coverings, setting all my items out. Then they unlocked the facility Saturday morning at 6:30, and they said that there's going to be a lot of vendors kind of like visiting each other's booths, and it might be a really good idea to be there at 6:30 so you can sell some stuff before the early bird started at 7:30. From 7:30 to 9:30 was the early bird shopping. So it was $5 to get into the toy show if you were a shopper. If you wanted to be an early bird shopper, it was $10 to get in before 9:30. Now, I had talked to the people that had thrown this toy show, and they said that they average between 100 and 150 early bird shoppers, which I thought was kind of a small number. And they said that a typical experience in the past 4 years, they started this in 2019, and they do it twice a year, every year since 2019. They said that they average between 9,000 people and 13,000 people. So I was like, wow, this is going to be a really good show. This is going to be a great opportunity to sell some stuff. And so I sold 61 of my 236 items. Of those 61 items, 18 of those items were priced at $1.50 or less. I made $437 at the toy show. Of that $437, I had about $96 that it was marked up beyond what I had invested in the inventory. And unfortunately, some of the things that I sold, I had to come down in my price, and I had $33 in losses. So I had a buffer zone of about $63 for absorbing some of the costs of the tables. But that meant that I still had about $100 in, it was $97 is what I had to pay for the tables out of that $437. So I had $97 left over after my profits had taken a chunk out of the table expenditure. I lost about 3 hours of wages at my job on Friday. I paid about $15 in gas. I paid about $12 in tolls, as I took a toll road to get to the toy show. So at the end of the day, after all my expenses, not factoring in my time or my wife's time, setting it up and running it and tearing it down, I made, bottom line, about $283. And so if you take what I sold and you remove the $96 markup and take that number and then figure in, well, that $283, I took about 20% in losses. So if I bought something for $10, I realistically sold it for $8 at the toy show. My biggest purpose in this toy show was to reduce the unneeded extra inventory. If I buy something new for my display here, I have to take something off of the pegboard and put something on it. And I had thought it was as simple as, okay, bought this for $25, and that was a year and a half ago. If I need to take this off of the wall, then I should be able to get it sold for about $25 and then put something else in its place, and hopefully selling this funds or comes close to funding the new thing. And that was kind of my philosophy on how I run my collection here. I kind of figured that, you get something new, you take something old out, the old thing covers the new thing. And realistically, I think that looking at this on paper and seeing the reality of how much did I sell, how much did I spend, what was my bottom line, what percentage of what I bought it for was I able to extract out of that, and that didn't even figure in my time. Honestly, at $283 for the 3 hours that I spent setting up on Friday, it was about a 30-minute drive there, 30-minute drive back, 30-minute drive there on Saturday, 30-minute drive back. So I've got 2 hours in driving, 3 hours in setup. I was there from 6:30 a.m. until about 4 o'clock. So, I mean, we're talking, I had some time invested in this too. It's weekend time, so I don't want to pay myself just $10 an hour. I mean, like, my weekends are worth more to me than even what I'm making currently during the week. I mean, I'd make time and a half if I just went to work and worked. So, if I take it into account my time, I lost my backside on this whole thing. So that was really eye-opening, big old reality check. The people that were around me selling, they said that this was a very abnormal weekend. I'm not a great judge of big crowds. I would have guesstimated that I had 1,000 people go by my booth. I would have been kind of surprised if the number was 2,000. So, I mean, like, I'm not sure if they're used to 9,000 and the weather being gloomy, rainy, it was cold. They were kind of thinking, well, people won't be out raking their leaves and being out doing yard work. They won't have anything to do. They may as well come into the toy show. So having a very gloomy, crappy weather for a Saturday would maybe bring more people in. The people that were around me, the other vendors, were saying that this was not the common experience, that they were just stunned at how few people were there and how few their sales were. And I was expecting about $700 in sales at the least, and I got not even 450. It was not even 440. So I was disappointed with the way that the weekend turned out. Just as far as getting rid of stuff that I didn't have room for in my display shop, and trying to extract money back out of my collection. That aside, as far as just being there and the experience of being a vendor at a toy show, I had a blast. I had a lot of fun. All the people around me were a lot of fun to be around. It was really a lot of fun to see somebody come up to your booth. I had 4 8-foot tables stretched end to end, so I had about 32 feet of table packed full, completely packed full of stuff. And seeing kids, collectors, grandparents, parents, everybody coming up and being like, whoa, this is really cool. I had one of these. Reminds me of my childhood. And seeing them, whether they purchased or not, get enthusiastically excited about the stuff that I had at my booth, that was kind of fun. Got a chance to talk to other collectors about, hey, did you know that this does this, or this does that, or have you seen this, or what's been your experience here today? It was a lot of fun being a vendor at the booth. So that was a positive experience, being a vendor at the booth. I really enjoyed that. 2 neighbors, one behind me and one next to me, really friendly guys, really nice guys. I didn't have any complaints about any of the vendors that I bumped into, talked to, had any interactions with. I did interact with the Micro Machines booth, and I went over to them and I said, hey, you know, I am looking to buy some Felis cars. And they looked at me like I had 3 heads, and they're like, what is a Felis car? I was like, oh, well, they're the Jazzwares ones, the new ones that they've produced here in the last few years. And she said, are you talking about the stuff that Hasbro's been making? I said, yes. She said, yeah, we don't sell that crap here. Our stuff is Galoob stuff, and we don't sell the new Jazzware Hasbro crap. That stuff is junk. No, we don't sell it. I was like, wow. Passionate about that viewpoint, so they didn't have any Felices for me. But anyway, so as far as interacting with the customers, like I said, they were a lot of fun to interact with. As far as pricing is concerned, of the 61 items that I sold, I would guess that 5 or less were things that I sold that they asked me to come down on. So I think that due to that experience, if I ever do become a vendor at another toy show, I think that I'm going to just experiment with it in the flip side of it and say, okay, I'm absolutely going to mark it as low as I can and just say, nope, I've cut to the chase. That is the price. You can either pay it or you can look for another one at another booth. I want to try that and see, because I had so few people ask me, hey, will you come down on your price? So I feel like as far as marking stuff up, I didn't mark it up as much as I should have, or as I was advised to. I did mark it up some, and I find myself wondering if I would have marked stuff down lower, would I have sold more stuff? Would I have got rid of more stuff? Would I have walked away with more money? And even if I would have reduced the price of some of that, the sheer volume of selling stuff, would I have taken that 20% loss and maybe made it into a 15% loss or a 10% loss? So, I don't know. So, anyway, that was kind of the experience of the toy show. I had a lot of fun. I definitely did not make near the money that I was expecting to. I might try it again here in the spring. This toy company, this toy show vendor, they do it twice. They do it in October, and then they do it in April. In the town that I did it in, they do a few more within 2 hours of me, north of me. And I don't know, they have one coming up in November, one coming up in December. I kind of wonder if it's not going to be much of a difference with the weather being bad and people being busy with holidays. I would like to think that the toy show would be the place to go and Christmas shop. I would have thought that would have been the case for this weekend. We're close enough to Christmas that maybe we would have gotten some people that were shopping for Christmas, but I didn't get the impression that that's most of what was going on. I think that it was a lot of collectors and stuff like that. So, but anyway, so I can see myself maybe giving it another shot. I think that my plan from here to try and get rid of stuff is to try to be a little more aggressive in my pricing on Facebook Marketplace and see if maybe try the boost feature and see if I can pay to get my listings seen by more people. But kind of a rambling rant video. Had a lot of fun at the toy show, made significantly less than I expected to, and kind of beside myself on that. Was really set back and stunned, taken aback. That's all I've got for you right now. Thanks for checking out my videos. Hopefully we will catch you in the next one.